Okay, so right now we are logged into the library database, Morningstar Investment Research Center. It is a live database, so that means that the data that you're seeing within the database is added throughout the day. So for example, if a stock is trading throughout the day, you're going to see that content, that data included. It's a great resource for both new and seasoned investors. So if you're new to investing or you do have some knowledge, it's a database that you can use as long as you're interested in investing. And you can come here for daily news commentary, in-depth analyst research. We've got data on stocks, funds, and ETFs, exchange traded funds. And in addition to the data, we also focus heavily on investor education. So this is a great place to go if you're hoping to learn more about investing, about retirement planning, college planning. We've got a whole suite of an investing classroom, as well as articles and videos by our analysts and our investing professionals or experts. So I am the customer success manager for the database. I work with libraries directly and I help answer patron questions. So if you ever do have questions beyond just the training, you can always reach out to us directly. And you can reach us at libraryservices@morningstar.com, or there's a phone number here that you'll get a voicemail and you can leave a voicemail. So that is available to you if you do have questions. I will state that I am not an analyst, so I don't know all the details of a financial question. However, if I don't know the answer, then I'm happy to look into it and reach out to our internal network to find that answer for you. So again, I'll show you this help screen or this home screen. Once you log in, you're going to see this. And the home screen is just a way to quickly get to some of our most used or loved functionality of the database. So you can easily get to, for example, our analyst reports, so equity analyst reports, mutual funds. You can use our screening tools. Those are common in our investing classroom. So that's what you're going to see when you log in. There's also a search box here. And this search box is specifically used for, you can either enter a name or a ticker. So if you don't know the ticker, you can put in the name. And so I'm going to show you what that is. But before I get started, I do also want to mention, and this is brand new news, but we are going to be updating the database later this year. We are still in the early stages, so we're going to be sending out communication to the libraries, but I did want to share that during this training because there are some things that are going to be slightly different. So I will try to point those out. However, when we do move to the new platform, it's essentially going to have the data that you're accustomed to. So everything that I'm going through in the training will be helpful, but the database is going to get a fresh, new kind of modern look, more aligned with some of our other Morningstar products. So we're excited to have that fresh new look since the database hasn't changed much in some time. So with that said, one thing I did want to point out is right now, this can only be used as a search box for a name or ticker. However, with the new database, we're excited to share that, or I shouldn't say new database, new platform. We're excited to share that it will be used as a keyword search. So for example, if you wanted to put in retirement planning, you'd be able to do that and get some information. Or if there's a keyword from an article, you could put that in and something will come up. So that's one of the changes that we are looking forward to. And we've gotten feedback that that would be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Apple. So let's say I want to get some information on Apple, and you'll see a list come up that has AAPL, which is the ticker for Apple, included. So you just want to make sure that you're choosing the correct one that you're interested in. You'll also see that we have Canadian data. So just make sure that you're choosing the USA. And then once you hit that, you're going to get to our Morningstar report or our quote page. This is going to be where you're going to get all the data that you potentially need on this particular stock. So for Apple. So right now we've got the name, the ticker symbol, the star rating. So the star rating, one of the things that Morningstar is known for is our analyst ratings. It's a way for investors at a glance to be able to give you a sense, is this a good stock to invest in, or is it not such a good stock to invest in? And so we have a whole methodology around our ratings. There's a lot of key factors that go into account when an analyst is making a rating. So I'll show you a little bit later on where you can get that information on the methodology. But for now, at a glance, you can tell what the star rating is. In addition, you can download the company report. So this is a PDF that's essentially going to give you all this data within this page on a PDF. Also at this top part, you're going to see the pricing. So right now you see 166.65. This is going to be the previous close date. So what this closed at is going to be the price. So for example, tomorrow you're going to see what the close price was for today. If you're looking for that real-time pricing, or if you're looking for historical pricing, you can access that in our chart. You'll see I'm hovering over it here. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring us to our price chart. So right now we are on 1 day and 1 minute frequency, and you can see how the price has traded throughout the day. You can also enter in your dates that you're interested in here, or you can go to max and get the historical data, 10-year. You can update this to the frequency that you want. You could add a comparison. So let's say we wanted to compare Apple with another stock, with Microsoft or one of its competitors. We could put in that comparison and see the two there. We also have things such as events and indicators that you can turn on or off. Fundamentals, drawings, the way it's drawn and displayed. If you want this data, you can export it currently into an Excel spreadsheet by clicking here. You can also print it. So that is a popular part of the this quote page. We also have right here, so anything that you see here, you can click on. So this is basically going to give you at a glance what's going on with this stock. So an overview, it's going to give you the last price. So this is the price as of when the stock market closed about an hour ago. Or maybe 2 hours ago if it's the East Coast. And then what sector, what industry, the investment style. And then you can also look at things like key ratios, trading information, and any current news, or it will give you the current news, but you can also look at all news. So if what's Apple in the news for currently. One way to access this page is to use this scroll menu on the side, but you can also click on here to jump around. So this will take you to, for example, say you wanted to see the key stats, it will jump you down to that so you don't have to scroll. Okay, so we're going to go down to the next section. So Morningstar analysis. As I was mentioning prior, we have a whole methodology around where we come up with our ratings. And if you're hoping to learn more about this, one way to do that is when you see this little I with a circle around it, that stands for information. You can click on that and it will give you more details. So this is great if you're new to Morningstar and you want to learn more about our ratings or any information. So for example, right here, you're going to get an overview on the rating for stocks. It gives you that information here. You'll see things like, okay, Morningstar's estimate of the stock's fair value. And then if you click on fair value, it gives you further details. In addition, we also take into account the economic moat. So what's the competitive advantage? Capital allocation. 5-star price is where you're going to consider buying. 1-star price is consider selling. Apple's currently at a 3-star, which is a fair price. So all of that's going to be taken into account when we come up with that. We also have competitors here. So if you're looking for other competitors to Apple, you'd click that and you're going to see it compares 3 similar stocks to Apple. So we have Google, we have HP and Microsoft, and you can do the comparison chart just like I was showing you on the price chart. You can click here if you want to get that information. You can look at things like the moat, the pricing, all of that information here to be able to compare that. You can also get more competitors' data by clicking there. And then bull says, bear says, there's further information there. Now, if I click back on summary, I can read the current analyst report. So this is the analyst for Apple, and I can read the full analysis here. And it's broken out by the business strategy and outlook, economic moat, fair value and profit, drivers, risk and uncertainty, and capital allocation. This is the current analyst report, but you can also take a look at all the archived reports. So you can see that this particular analyst has covered Apple for some time. Usually an analyst is assigned to an investment or group of investments, not just one, but several investments. And it is their job to be able to research heavily any sort of news or updates. They interview the management. They have all sorts of insight into what's going on with these investments so that they can provide independent research to an individual investor. And that's really how Morningstar started. Our founder, Joe Mansueto, found that there was no really information out there for individuals to be able to make these decisions without feeling like things were being swayed. So this is all independent information. And so this is where, as an investor, you're going to look at this analysis and take it into account when you're making your investing decisions. Okay, we've also have things like price versus fair value. So it's looking at that for 10 years. Sustainability. So if you're not familiar with sustainability, it has definitely been a huge focus of Morningstar the last several years. We actually purchased a company or acquired a company called Sustainalytics. I'm going to click on this eye here so you can get some further information. And you'll see that we have incorporated Sustainalytics data to be able to create an ESG risk rating. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. So the reason that Morningstar has focused so heavily on sustainability in investing is because we do see that this is impacting investors' choices when they are looking at what investments to choose. We do sometimes get questions about, does this make Morningstar political? No, it does not. We are just providing data and research so that you, as an investor, can take that information and make those decisions. So everything is laid out for you as far as, how this is, if this is a risk, and you can make that decision if it's important to you. We also have things like the risk rating breakdown, exposure and management. So it does give you some further information. And then trailing returns, you've got the trailing returns on both a daily, monthly, and quarterly basis for the company against the industry and the benchmark. You've got things like key statistics. And again, you can click on all these things. You've got the financial statements. You can click on that to get more information. The operating performance, any dividends and splits to the company. Ownership, so what funds hold Apple within their portfolio. So we've got the top 5 here, but you can also see more ownership data there. And you can also click on things like concentrated, buying, selling, what funds would have that you might be interested in. We also have data on the executive team. So you can read who the executive team is, their salaries. You can look at the board of directors. You can also see any transaction history here listed below, and then company profile. So most of us are probably familiar with Apple, but if this is a company that you're not familiar with, you do get a brief business description there, as well as contact information, sector, industry, employees, things of that nature. So that is the quote page. There's a lot of information here. So you can take as little or as much as you want from it. People use the database in different ways. Some people use it specifically, just look up the analyst report, and some people dive a little bit further. It kind of depends on where you're at in investing. So currently I just put in the name of the ticker and it pulled up the quote page, but currently we're under the equity tab. So I'm going to show you what some of these tabs mean or what you'll find within them. The overview is going to be kind of what it sounds like. It's an overview of the equity market. So you can get the latest analyst reports. You can see the market fair value, any market commentary that's current, some of the gainers and losers. Under markets, this is where you're going to see our real-time trackers. So we've got the sector delta, market barometer, and the indices that are live. So it's going to be updating throughout the day. Some of this is repeated. So with the new database or with the new platform, it will be a little bit more streamlined. So you won't see some of this things like market commentary or gainers, losers are kind of repeats from that overview. We do have commodity futures listed here. Research, some of this will be repeated as well, where you can see some of the latest analyst reports. But under here, you might want to access our research highlights, which is a weekly summary of stock ideas and developments in the companies we cover. Currently, we're experiencing some issues with the archives. So we have put in a ticket with our developers to get that remedied. The reports don't seem to be loading, but you are able to access the current report. I will say, if you ever run into any technical issues or something's not loading properly, definitely reach out to us. You can reach us again at that libraryservices@morningstar.com. We are happy to know if something is not working, because sometimes if we're not, utilizing every aspect of the database, we might not know. Things don't typically stop working, but sometimes it can happen, just like with any technology. So we appreciate you letting us know so that we can get that on our developers' radar to get fixed. So in addition, we also have the market outlook, and this is a quarterly report. So if you want to know what's going on in the market on a quarterly basis, that's definitely something you might be interested in. We have a PDF here where you can learn more about our research methodology. And then at the bottom, we have our quarterly sector reports, and these are PDFs as well. Okay, and then moving on, you can get the latest analyst reports. So if you are looking for what equities our analysts cover, this is where you're going to get the full list. You can see at the bottom, we cover 963 equities currently, our analysts cover. So the analyst reports are going to offer in-depth analyst coverage. You can click on any of these to access the quote page which is where we were just at with Apple. If you want to access the PDF of just the report, the analyst report, that's going to be on the right side here. You can also filter this. So currently it's just by date. You'll see April 20th, but let's say we wanted to filter by the star rating. We could click on that or double click on that, and then it will bring us to the top star rated stocks. And then you could just click on here to access those. I'm going to go next. So these are kind of repetitive. So I'm going to go to Screener next and show you a tool that we find that a lot of patrons will access or use. So the Screener tool is a great way for an investor to be able to put in credentials or things that are important to you as an investor and filter down a list of investments. So right now there's over 24,000 stocks, and we want to filter that number. We want to get that number down. So you can put in your own personal criteria. So for example, let's say we want to do the healthcare sector, and we're going to do show more, and we want to make sure that it's a wide economic moat. And let's say we are interested in ESG, so we're going to say 4 globes or more, and let's see what that gets us. So that gets us to 16 stocks. So it really filters that down. And you can always add more things. You can put as little or as much as you want. You can also reset the filters by clicking there. So now we've got a list of 16 here. And it's going to give you, right now it's on analyst research. So we can see the Morningstar rating and the ESG risk rating. But you can also click on overview to see what equity style box it's in. We know the sector or the industry, the business country. You can see the growth, market, profitability, and valuation. And then on the right here, you're going to see IDR, which stands for Investment Detail Report. And I'll show you what that is. This is a commonly used report by investors. It is a 1-page report. It says 3, but the page 2 and 3 are just disclosures. So it's a 1-page report. It basically sums up that whole quote page in 1 page. So it gives you some background on the company, and it gives you the 10-year pricing information is all listed here. You've got your competitors. You've got major fund holders, quarterly results. So you've got all this data basically included on a 1-page sheet. So that's the IDR. You can also access the analyst report. Currently, if you remember, at the top of the quote page for Apple, we only had the company report, which is many different pages. Now, if you just want a 1-page report, when we move over to the new platform, we will have that on the quote page where you can just access that 1-page report. So it'll be a lot better user experience. But currently we don't have that. So if you did just want to, let's say you wanted to get the Apple 1-page report, I'm going to reset my filters, and I'm going to put in AAPL, Apple, and I'm going to scroll down, and then I've got the IDR, so I can access that there. So that's one way, just a little trick to share with you if you are interested in just getting that 1-page report. But again, when we move over to the new platform, it will be much simpler where you can access that within it. All right, so now that we're familiar with equity, we're going to move over to funds. And funds has some similar tabs such as overview. And you'll see similarly to equities, you've got the live market barometer, sector delta, and indices listed here. You can see our latest analyst reports. So for funds, we have 2 different ratings. We have an analyst rating, which is going to be also known as a medalist rating. And then we've got the star rating as well. Mutual funds. So this is going to be our list of all the analyst funds that we have, or analyst reports that we have on funds. You can see there's over 1,700. And similarly, you could even put in the name if you wanted to see if we had that, or you could filter, but it does default to the day. So let's say we wanted to, let's filter for the analyst rating. And then let's say we want to choose this top one to look at the quote page. So I'm just going to click on that and it will bring me to the quote page or Morningstar report. This is laid out slightly differently. At the top, we do have a one-page report similar to the IDR investment detail report. So you can access that currently on the fund page. You also have the lengthier report, the fund report. In addition, we have a sustainability report as well as a carbon report. So it allows you to dig a little bit deeper into the ratings for sustainability and carbon. So in addition, we've got you'll see the chart here. So if you want to see that pricing, you can click on that. You get the information at a glance. So Morningstar's fundamentals. So if you're wondering a little bit about our analyst rating and our star rating, you can get that Morningstar fundamentals here. So one thing I will mention is for the Morningstar rating or the fund star rating, that is looking at past performance. So star rating is past, whereas the medalist is a forward-looking report. And for this forward-looking projection, it's based on 3 key pillars, which you'll see here: process, people, parent. But we also take into account 5 key pillars for the ultimate rating: performance, price, process, people, parent. And you can learn a little bit more about that here as well. You can see our take, which is the analyst report here. You can show full analysis. You can look at comparables. So this is some of the competitors or comparables. They're not really competitors, but what's similar. And then you can scroll down and we'll see things like the performance. And this is again looking at a 10-year performance, and you can see it benchmarked against the category and the index. You have your trailing returns, sustainability. So as you saw, there's a carbon report. So we have the sustainability rating, the globe rating, but we also have carbon metrics included for funds. And it gives you some further details here by clicking on that information. And you can also see things like product involvement. And so this is what I was mentioning prior to what is important to you as an investor. So for example, you are an animal lover and you want to make sure that the fund that you're investing in doesn't do any animal testing. And so if you looked here, you could see that it is involved in animal testing. And so that might be something that raises a red flag for you. And you say, you know what, this is not the fund that I'm interested in investing in. So you can see all this information is listed here. And you can see whether that's important to you or not. All right, and then we also have, what is the risk of owning this fund? And you've got pricing information, portfolio information. How is this allocated? How's this fund allocated? In this case, it's mostly equities. What is the exposure? So you can look at the sector, region, and country. You can get a breakdown of the holdings. So this one has Apple, which we were just looking at. People, so who's the management team? And you can click on their name to get further information. You can see their timeline. You can see, you know, if it's a female or who's the gender identity, what the strategy is. The parent would be the fund family. The rating breakdown by analyst rating and Morningstar rating. So you get a lot of further details. This is for the fund quote page. And then this, I think these are actually supposed to be here. I don't know, something must have been switched around, but that's the menu button, the chart, and then you can also quick print this. However, you might want it in a nice PDF, then click there. Okay, moving on to target date series. These are basically fund family reports if you're interested in that. 529 college savings. So this is a great place to check out if you do invest in 529 college savings plans. You can filter by the date, or excuse me, the state. And so we're going to go to Illinois and we see the two 529 college saving programs. We've got our analyst rating, and if you want to learn more about the rating methodology, there is a PDF there. We also have the landscape report. These reports are done annually, usually at the end of October, early November. You can access the PDFs here. Okay, and we've got a whole tab on sustainability for funds. And I will show you later on under articles and videos where you can filter for sustainability matters. If you are interested in sustainability, this is, and it is actually Earth Week, I will mention that. So if you're interested in that, it's Earth, I believe it's Earth Day today, just looking at this. So if you are interested in this, and especially when you are investing, you can get further information here. We have a whole section about our methodology, and our screener you can access here. And this is very similar to the stock screener, where you can either put in a name or several names and scroll down to get the IDR, or you can filter and narrow down the results to be able to pick an investment that fits your criteria. So let's say we want to do, let's say we want 4 stars or more. And we are going to do, let's do large blend. Let's see what that gets us to. Oh, we still have 2,000. So maybe we're going to do, large growth. All right, well, it's loading. Let's see what comes up. Okay, 11. So now that we have this, this is slightly different than the stock screener. And I will mention again, when we move to the new platform, some of these tools that you'll find within the fund screener will be then available in the stock screener. So one of those tools is this button right here, the Morningstar Fund Comparison. So this is a great tool if you are, so you filter down the results to be able to get what you're interested in. And let's say we want to take a look at these funds and we want to compare them. So if we click on that button there, it will pull up a comparison. And so we've got our comparison here, and you can scroll down and look at how they compare. And you can also generate a report. So it's a really great tool to be able to use if you're having difficulty making a decision on what to invest in. It gives you that side-by-side comparison. So we're excited to share that that tool will be available within the new platform for stocks as well. So here you've got a fund compare tool, but that only allows you to compare 2. So I would definitely use this for the time being. For example, if I reset my filters, and let's say I did, let's just do this one that I have already listed. So I've got my 2, and then I could just do the comparison tool there. So that's a little trick as well. All right, so moving on to ETFs. We do cover ETFs as well, and exchange traded funds. So we've got our analyst reports here, our market fair value, some of the commentary. That's under overview. Markets. This is similar to what was under equity and funds. We highlight the daily market movements. So this provides some of the research methodology, some basic sector reports, the analyst reports, some further information. Favorites is going to be a selective list of 35 ETFs, as well as their performance and their category. All that information you can see here at a glance. But if you do know the ETF you're looking for, you can always enter it in the search box and pull it up. And then we do have a screener for ETFs as well. So just the same as the fund screener, you can use the comparison tool. All right, so I am just looking at the time, so I want to keep moving. And so that's really the data part of the database. In addition to data, we also focus heavily on investor education. This database is created for libraries. So as you can guess, libraries are very interested in education. And so we provide a whole section on planning and education. So if you click on planning and education, one thing that we're really excited about is this investing classroom. If you click learn more, it brings you to that investing classroom. So this is a great tool for you no matter what level you're at. We've got several different courses. There's about 9 different courses on different topics. If you want to search, there is a search box here. So you could put in a word, a keyword, and search there to see if we have any information. So I'm going to click on, let's do retirement. So this has 8 courses. You'll see here it says level. Level 100 is going to be basic, 500 is going to be advanced. And you'll see some of the topics here. So we've got things such as budgeting for retirement, women in retirement, choosing a financial planner. So if we click here, we can begin the course. You can actually take a quiz to see how much you know beforehand. If you do start now, I'll show you what this looks like. So you can jump around to pages here. Sometimes there's videos. And then going back, one thing I also want to point out is we recently added this ESG course. So environmental social governance, again, if that's something you're interested in, this is at level either beginner or intermediate, and you can learn more about that there. So we are adding a lot of great content and tools and a fresh new look to the database, to the new platform. However, there are some things that we are going to be retiring based on business decisions. So one of those is the X-ray tool and the calculators. So I'm not going to talk about them because it's not something that we're going to be bringing over at this point to the new platform. But I did want to bring that to your attention. Okay, and then moving over to articles and videos. This is one of my favorite sections because there's so much great information here. And again, this just depends on your level. You can look at all different topics. We have authors are our analysts or our investing specialists. They're going to be the ones that are writing these reports daily. these articles. There's also videos. Within this section, you can filter by different collections. So some of the collections you might be interested in are, for example, special reports. So these are usually reports done annually. So for example, there's like a 2023 portfolio checkup. You'll see that next year there'll be a new one. There's also 2023 tax guide. Probably not useful now, but it gives you a sense of what you'll find in there. And then other things that might be of interest, let's see, investing specialists. So these are going to be on topics that will affect individual investors. So things like 5 questions to ask a financial advisor, 7 great investing books for beginners, lots of tax content during tax season, just a wealth of information. You'll see the author Christine Benz listed quite a bit under this collection, and that's because she's our director of personal finance. She, if you're not familiar with her, she, is very popular. She's got a lot of fans out there, and she is just as lovely in person, I will say, as she is in her videos or articles. And she just does a really great job of giving individual investors content that is useful. So if you do like her, I would check her out under authors. And she's got a lot of great content. She does videos, she does articles, so you'll see all of that there. Things like, so some of these she already wrote, but things like smart long-term care planning, or can you retire soon? So there's a lot of retirement. She has college savings information. There's just a lot of great resources that you can search for here. And what we're excited about in the new platform is that if there is a keyword such as like long-term care planning, if you put that in the search, you'd then be able to find an article that she maybe wrote. So that's something that's going to be a great addition to the new platform. So moving on to help. This is probably familiar to you if you've ever seen our monthly training sessions. So today we're doing a training specifically for the Barrington Public Library, which we are happy to be doing, or I should say I'm happy to be doing. But if you ever want to join a training session, just as a refresher, I usually do them monthly. When we do move over to the new platform later this year, we will likely be doing them weekly. So just be on the lookout for that. If you do see that the platform looks different and you want help kind of working through the ins and outs of it, you can definitely join one of our training sessions. In addition, you can access our users guide here. So this is a great place to get information on how to utilize the database. So I am obviously giving you a lot of information now, but if if you're not taking notes or you're wanting to review something that I said, go to the user's guide and look in there at the different sections, and it will give you some further information. You can also get PDFs on how to read a stock analyst report or a fund analyst report. We do have videos that talk you through it. If you want to learn more about our proprietary ratings, such as the analyst rating, our fund rating, and our equity research methodology, the quantitative rating and the medalist rating are going to become one, basically. You can learn about that here. That will be happening May 2nd, but you can click there to get more information about our methodology. We also have a glossary, so if you see a term that you're not familiar with when you are accessing the database, you can access this glossary to be able to get some information on what that term is. And it's just taking a little bit long to load. But it's essentially a better way of, instead of Googling a term, you're able to get the information on that from Morningstar. Sometimes it takes a little bit long to load, but it shouldn't be taking that long. So I'm wondering, just let that go. Okay. And then newsletters, I apologize because I forgot to check if you guys have access to this, but if you do, the newsletters are just a great complement. This is an add-on feature, so that's why I said I'm not sure if your library has it. I forgot to check before I started the training. But if you do have it, it gives you access to our 4 different newsletters. There is monthly a current issue as well as our archived year of newsletters. And this is just a great way to be able, if there's a topic you're interested in, to be able to go within the newsletters and get some further information.